chest towards the mat. And already check in with yourself and notice if there's pain in your low back or pain through the inner thighs. And if that's the case, just bring your knees closer in towards each other. Especially at the beginning of our practice, you're probably a little bit tighter, a little bit stiffer. And as we warm up, it'll be easier to get into these types of poses. So a huge part of yoga is all about connecting to your breath. So as we hold here for just a few more moments, really focus on breathing in and out through your nose and sending that breath all the way down to your belly. So not just breathing in a shallow way through your chest, but really deep, mindful breaths. And take 3 breaths here. And whenever you exhale, see if you can relax your shoulders a little more. Relax your hips a little more. And stretch out really long through your arms. Let's push into the hands. Start to lift back up. Tabletop pose. So on hands and knees, align your knees under your hips and your hands under your shoulders. And really spread your fingertips as wide as you possibly can and push into your fingertips and knuckles. We're trying to take some of the weight out of our wrists. Cat and cow, as you inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze up, curl tailbone up. And as you exhale, reverse this motion now by rounding through your back, dropping the head down. And we'll just go in and out of those 2 poses, very simple. Inhale to open up. Exhale to contract and round. Take about 3 more. And just notice where there might be a little bit of tension along your spine. This is really wonderful to do if you spend a lot of your time during the day sitting down at a desk or driving. Also great to do first thing in the morning. Take 1 more here. Inhale, drop the belly, lift your gaze up. Exhale, round and contract. And now come back to your neutral tabletop pose. You're going to extend your right leg back behind you and just push into that right heel. So stretching into the calf and a little bit into the ankle. Reaching back, and then you're just going to cross your right foot as far over to the left as you can. Start to push into your right hip and look over your left shoulder towards that right foot. So big side body stretch through the sides of your waist and down the leg. Take a big inhale here and bring that foot back through the center. We're going to step the foot forward in between our palms to the top of the mat. Stack your right knee over the top of your ankle for your low lunge. And start first just by letting your fingertips push and lift you up here. Roll your shoulders down and away from your ears. And as you melt your hips down towards the floor, you're going to start to feel that nice stretch through the front of your left thigh. And now you can push into the legs a little bit more, engaging some strength as you lift up into this low lunge. Think of rolling your shoulders down and away from your ears. Open your chest a little bit more, maybe even look up. Deep breaths here. And hands come back down to the floor. Now tuck the back toes under so you can lift your back knee off the mat. Keep your left hand under your shoulder and reach your right arm up to the sky. This is your easy twist. You're trying to reach one hand as far away from the other as possible. Strengthening through your legs, pushing actively through your feet. And let's find our first downward facing dog. So right hand down and step the right foot back. So hands are about shoulder width distance apart, feet are about hip width distance apart. And really do not worry about having straight legs, and don't worry about getting your heels to the mat. Start by bending your knees so your heels will be lifted, and see if you can just push into your arms and reach your chest towards your thighs. Relax your head, relax your neck. And over time, maybe you'll be able to start straightening the legs, maybe the heels will touch, but honestly, that's not the goal of the pose. If you're feeling sensation, if you're getting a good stretch, if you're feeling the strength building up in your arms, You're doing it perfectly. Take one more full breath in here. And let's come all the way forward into plank pose and let your knees come down to the floor. So this is your half plank. Reach the tailbone down, pull the heart forward, and lower all the way to your belly. Keep your elbows hugging in towards the sides of your ribs. With your toes pointed back, roll the shoulder back, push into your hands, cobra. So big heart opening here. Exhale to release. Find your child's pose. Reach your hips towards your heels, arms extended out. 3 breaths here. And just notice how this little sequence has activated your body, where you feel it most. And I like to do these little pauses so that we can catch our breath again and find that slow, steady rhythm that's easy to maintain. And let's lift back, tabletop pose. So realign yourself so you have hands on your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And this time we're gonna stretch the left foot back, or left leg back. And now push into that left heel, just stretching into the calf, and into that ankle a little bit. No tension in your upper body. And then we're gonna cross that foot over as far over to the right as you can. Push out into your left hip and look back towards that left foot. So a nice little side bend. Coming back through the center, we're gonna find our low lunge. So step your left foot forward in between your palms to the top of the mat. Align your knee over your ankle and just come up onto the fingertips. Letting gravity pull your hips down a little bit more. Big stretch here. Notice where you're holding tension. And you'll need to engage the muscles in your legs a little bit as well as your belly to lift up into your low lunge. Roll the shoulders back. Open up through your chest. Strong through your legs. Inhale. Into your easy twist. So hands come down. Tuck the back toes under. Lift your back knee off the mat. Right hand is under your shoulder. Left arm stretches up to the sky. Only looking up at your top hand if that's okay for your neck. If it feels really uncomfortable and awkward, you can just keep looking directly down. Keep pushing into your big left toe. And we're gonna find our downward dog again. Left hand down and step the left foot back. Hip width distance apart with your feet, shoulder width distance apart with your arms. And maybe start to paddle the feet this time in down dog. So that means you're bending one knee and straightening the other leg and just alternating. So stretching one leg at a time. Try to keep your head super heavy so there's no tension in your neck, no tension in your jaw. Let's come forward, plank pose, strong through your core. Knees come down to the floor, lower all the way down onto your belly, elbows in. Push your hands into the mat. Push your feet into the floor. Cobra, open up. Exhale to release. And this time, instead of going to child's pose, we're going back into our downward facing dog. Tuck the toes under and lift your hips up and back. From this down dog, start to walk your feet forward to the top of the mat, and you can bend your knees a lot here. We're coming to our ragdoll fold. So your feet might be wider than your hips, maybe more towards the edges of the mat. You can bend your knees a lot and let your upper body drape and rest over your thighs. The arms can dangle, or sometimes it feels good just to hold on to the elbows, and maybe sway a little side to side. Exhale to let all of this tension go. Let's bring our fingertips back down to the floor. Bend your knees even more and push into your heels to roll all the way up to stand, inch by inch. Rolling your shoulders back, opening up. Okay, so I'm going to turn towards you just to show you what we're doing next. We're coming into our tree pose. So you're going to lean onto your left leg and bring your right foot somewhere along the inside of that left leg. So So the toes can always stay down to the floor to help you with balance. You might go up to the shin, or if it's accessible, you can always go up to the inner thigh. I'm not going to worry too much about how high. I'm going to work right here. And with that bent right knee, think of squeezing it open and hugging into the midline. So this is what you want the pose to look like. I'm just going to turn and go back into your tree pose. So once the legs feel nice and stable, you can start to maybe bring your hands to your heart, or if you'd like to challenge yourself a little further, you're going to reach your arms all the way up to the sky. And some wobbling is totally normal. Don't worry if you fall out of the pose. It happens to everyone, no matter how beginner or advanced you are. Some days are always going to be easier than others. See if you can stretch out and lengthen a little more. If you had your arms up overhead, bring your